Hi, I'm Bob Ross. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. As you can see by the title, 3 massive mistakes I made when diagnosed with a brain tumor, I understand what you're going through. When I was told, it was like a scene out of the movies. I went from my test results to the neurologist, and he said, "Bob, I've got good news and bad news." I said, "Doc, give me the good news first." "Well, Bob, the good news is that your brain activity is abnormal." "Abnormal?" "No, Doc, I asked for the good news." "Well, compared to the bad news, that is good news." And he put the CAT scan up on the viewfinder. He said, "Bob, you've got a brain tumor. And it's so deep that if we do surgery to get at it, we have to go through healthy brain tissue, and you might be a vegetable." And at that moment, my life changed. So I understand the fear, I understand the panic, I understand the denial. Oh man, I had some good episodes of denial. So I want you to set aside 45 minutes. Make sure you turn off all distractions, your phone, shut down Facebook. You want a piece of paper and a pen so that you can make some notes. And what you're going to learn is all scientifically based, and it can change your life. You can be able to apply it today. So let's begin. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel devastated, confused, and afraid about your diagnosis? I certainly did. What if you could take an active role in your healing and actually help your body heal? Or would you love to feel more at peace, knowing you have the power to activate the hidden secret to healing? Well, guess what? You're in the right place. Who's this for? This is if you've been diagnosed with cancer, if you're scared spitless, confused, feel like a guinea pig, if you feel like you're in a war, or if you feel like you're a victim of your condition and have no control over your own fate. Who this is not for. If you just want to be passive in your healing. If you want slow results. I know what you're saying. What? Are you nuts? Why would I want slow? Well, it actually relates to the next one. If you don't want to get well. A friend of mine was diagnosed with cancer, and he received so much love and attention, more than he'd ever received in his life. He didn't want to get better. He craved that attention. In fact, he sabotaged his healing, and he died. And then finally, if you aren't open to the miraculous, you're going to hear some unbelievable stories today, and your mind just has to be open to the miraculous. Why am I doing this? I'm looking for like-minded individuals who want to have hope, maybe for the first time, take an active role in their healing, release the natural healing ability of their body, feel more at peace, and experience times of tranquility. I don't know if that's you yet. We'll see. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to make your body hostile to cancer cells so that it's harder for these bad cells to survive. A little known secret to healing that will make you feel more at peace and with a sense of hope. You'll feel empowered. And the missing link to all cancer therapies that can increase the effectiveness of any treatment you receive. Here is why you need to know what I know. I've had a passion for helping people since I was 6 years old. I had a siren on my bicycle, and I'd ride around the neighborhood bandaging people up, even if they didn't need it. I'm a best-selling author and also published in medical journals. I come from a long line of scientists and inventors. My research with scleroderma patients discovered an unknown effect on the thyroid gland, which then changed the treatment protocol for people with scleroderma around the world. I received an award from the United States Congress for bringing a man back from the dead. Very dramatic, very cool. I'll tell you that story sometime. I also got to work with the United States Secret Service. I was providing medical coverage for the head of Homeland Security when he was giving the commencement speech at a college here in Los Angeles. I have a degree in physics, and I was the first ever to graduate with distinction in physics with a specialty in nuclear physics. I was one of only 3 people accepted into a prestigious program in medical physics at Harvard. I actually turned them down. I know. That's what my mom said. What? Well, the reason I turned them down, it was a great program, but they wanted you to go into research after your doctorate, and I wanted to treat cancer patients. So I went to the UCLA Medical School program in medical physics instead. Now, while in that program, I had hypersomnia, so I wasn't able to wake up. And when I woke up, I felt like a slug, like it was disoriented in the middle of the night, and it got worse and worse. And that led to the brain tumor diagnosis. So I became the patient. Now, what are the odds of that? Right? Here I am in a program to learn how to treat people with brain tumors, and I was now the patient. I was in a neurological intensive care unit for 8 days, and the things they did to me were barbaric, many of which were without anesthesia. And now, they meant well, they were trying to help me, but oh man, I felt like an object at times, and I was told, we're not sure what to do. Encouraging, huh? I was actually part of a research team over 30 years ago that made one of the biggest breakthroughs ever in cancer therapy, and is now used around the world, except here in the US. So what we discovered was that if you increase the temperature of cancer cells, it makes them so weak that they're easier to be taken care of. So any therapy you'd use, you'd have to use a lot less, whether it's chemo or radiation or anything else. You go to Germany, the Far East, the cancer clinics in Mexico, one of the first things they're going to do is heat your body up so any treatment they're giving you is more effective. I know, sad. During my medical training, I came across information that was not shared with the public. I even found research articles in scientific journals that only doctors would read of natural substances that help the body heal from cancer. But it wasn't part of our training. I spent 11 years in school and walked away from the field of traditional cancer therapy. There's nothing for sale today. But if you stay until the end, I have a $497 gift for you that will dramatically change your results when it comes to your healing, and a way to have all your questions answered for free. In fact, if you want my help in implementing these things, there'll be an opportunity for you to apply. But there's nothing for sale today. Are you doing things the hard way? Are you doing things the ineffective way like I was? You may not know right now, but there are things you can do to help in the healing process. Believe it or not, just passively receiving cancer treatment of any kind is the hard way for you to heal. You feel like you're at the mercy of the system. You feel tense, nervous, anxious, scared, all of which is normal, but it makes it harder for you to heal. And finally, you have the mentality of battling your cancer. It doesn't have to be this way. My question is, what if there is a more effective way to help your body heal? Now, it's very important that we have this disclaimer: results are not typical. I don't personally know you, your desire to heal, or how well you can implement what I teach. And to be honest, most people don't even get around to doing what I teach. It is so sad. So, any results I talk about in this presentation are not typical. It's not hard to do, but it takes effort, persistence, and patience. And I'm in no way promising as to what you can make out of what I do or what I'm teaching you here. And this is the required FDA statement. The content of this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The content should not be used for diagnosis or treatment of any condition or disease. The case histories presented are provided for illustrative purposes only. No expressed or implied guarantee of results is made. If you are currently being treated by a physician or other healthcare practitioner for any condition or disease, please consult with that provider prior to changing or modifying any treatment program. Do you agree? Okay, great. Let's continue. Let me now reveal, like the top 3 countdown, the number 3 massive mistake I made when diagnosed with a brain tumor. Not knowing the secret 3 of cancer. All cells need a certain environment to survive. Remember high school biology and the Petri dish? If the environment wasn't right, whatever was in the Petri dish couldn't grow. The secret 3 of cancer. Cancer cells need to survive, you ready for this? An acidic environment, so low pH, low oxygen levels, and refined processed sugar. That's the secret 3. And in addition, your body is a self-healing mechanism. Think about this for a minute. Have you ever had a cold? Even if you didn't take any over-the-counter medication or even prescription drugs for the symptoms, did your body heal and get better? If not, that cold would have led to pneumonia, which would have killed you. And did you know they estimate we get cancer every day? Every day cancer cells pop up. If your immune system is strong, and that's the key, and functioning properly, it will produce interferon, interleukin, antineoplasms to take care of the cancer. And if the body's environment is hostile to cancer cells, it makes the immune system's job even easier. Now, this is absolutely amazing. So this is a very short video of a cervical cancer cell being attacked by the T cells. And the cancer cell is the big one, and the T cells are the small ones. Watch this. Now the T cell is going to penetrate the cell wall of the cancer cell, and as soon as it does, the others gang up and take it out. Here it comes. Ready? Bam. Isn't that incredible? That's your wonderful immune system at work. I love this quote from Dr. Vernon Irwin. Rather than try to force results from the outside, I give the body what it needs to heal and thrive as it was designed to do. Completely agree with that. How to take advantage of the secret 3. Here's how to do it. To balance the pH, you can use fresh lemon in warm water, which is actually great for all sorts of conditions. You can use alkaline water or baking soda, but it has to be on an empty stomach. The problem with alkaline water and baking soda is if the stomach has food in it, it'll produce acid so it can digest the food. Well, the acid will neutralize the alkaline water and the baking soda. Uh-oh. And the baking soda and alkaline water will also neutralize the stomach acid so you can't digest your food. So it always needs to be on an empty stomach. And also you can take food-grade hydrogen peroxide 3% concentration in water. That should be done under a physician or healthcare provider's guidance. Secondly, you can increase oxygen, and they recommend the EWAT, which is exercise while on oxygen therapy. So basically you have a nasal cannula at about 6 liters a minute in your nose while you're exercising. So instead of getting 21% oxygen, which is what's in the air, you're getting close to 100% oxygen. Also, really deep breathing will increase your oxygen levels. And you can also use, interestingly enough, liposomal vitamin C. Now, what's different than regular vitamin C, like a pill you take, is they estimate you only get about 10% of the pill because vitamin C is easily destroyed by stomach acid and temperature. So what they did is they encapsulated the vitamin C in phospholipids to protect it. And they estimate that this form of vitamin C is about 95% absorption as an IV of vitamin C. Now, Dr. Levy has done great research, written several books on the history of therapeutic vitamin C, and it used to be you could only get that with an IV. In fact, all the way back to treating people with polio, successfully, by the way. This is the best one that I found. You can actually get it on Amazon. It's you might want to take a screenshot of that with your phone, or you might be watching this on your phone. Never mind. It's the 3,000 milligrams per dose. That's what you're looking for. They make the 1,000, but get the 3,000. That's a better value. Just so you know, 3,000 milligrams is not even a full capful. Yeah, it tastes great and it's excellent. It turns out that vitamin C in the body converts to hydrogen peroxide, which balances your pH. Remember we talked about that? And then the hydrogen peroxide releases free oxygen, and that increases oxygen levels. So that's why vitamin C will increase oxygen levels. And then finally, you want to reduce refined processed sugar and simple carbs. Now, whole fruit, like the whole orange, actually helps the body. Processed fruit does not. A ketogenic diet is good, plus your physician can use insulin, actually giving you insulin, closely monitored, of course, to keep your blood sugar on the low end. By the way, these things we just talked about also help your immune system stay strong. So it's an added blessing. Next, the number 2 massive mistake I made when diagnosed with a brain tumor. There are actually 2 parts to this mistake. One, I saw, and I was taught, that treating cancer was a battle. It's a fight, a war on cancer. Kind of reminds me of the movie Ghostbusters. In Western medicine, we treat cancer cells like they're aliens invading our body from another planet. So we've got to cut it out. We've got to blast it with radiation. We've got to just poison the thing. And the second part of the number 2 mistake was not knowing and addressing the possible cause. I was amazed at how infrequently we actually looked for the cause, and which it turns out includes unhealed emotional issues that can not only be part of the cause, but can also hinder healing. So, addressing number 1. The war on cancer would be a war on your own body. Cancer cells are your own cells that have, in simple terms, become very selfish. Have you noticed how some cancer patients waste away? It's because cancer cells have such an appetite for sugar, and they are so selfish that it will steal glucose, the body's energy source, from the rest of the body. In fact, sometimes patients don't even die of their cancer, they die of cellular starvation. And there's a reason those cancer cells went to the dark side. It is the wisdom of your body telling you something is amiss. Could be bad diet, stress, bitterness, you're being exposed to radiation or toxins. There's a great LA Times article entitled, "Fighting Disease is the Wrong Metaphor." Now, think about how you feel when you say the war on my cancer, battle against my cancer, I'm fighting my cancer. Can you feel the tension, the contraction in your body when you use that terminology? My friends, here is a massive insight. Your body has to be in the relaxation response in order to heal. Just the opposite of that tension. That's why stress is the leading cause of illness. It suppresses your immune system. So does refined processed sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup. That stuff is like crack cocaine sugar. It's awful. Let's try something. Do me a favor and just receive a nice deep breath through your nose. Now let it all go. the end of the breath, say peace. I know, I know, humor me. Receive a nice deep breath through your nose. Now let it all go. End of the breath, say peace. Great. One more time. Receive a nice deep breath through your nose. Now let it all go. Peace. Can you feel it? Isn't that nice? And for some of you, that may have been the first deep breath you've had since your diagnosis. You just helped your body to heal better. The 4-5-6 breathing technique is basically what we did. You breathe in for a count of 4, you hold it for 5, and you breathe out for 6. It helps actually in 2 ways. One, you have to focus on counting, which disrupts the pattern of that crazy-making brain. And 2, it forces you to take deeper breaths, greatly increasing your oxygen levels. Now, the number 2 part of the second mistake, not knowing and addressing the possible cause. And this is a biggie. Unresolved emotional issues. They estimate that up to 85% of illnesses are due to unresolved emotional issues. If we don't resolve the cause, it will just come back. This example may help explain the issue. Let's say there's a piece of radioactive cobalt hidden in your mattress, and you develop cancer as a result of that exposure. You successfully get treated for the cancer, but the radioactive cobalt, the cause, is still in your mattress. Your cancer will come back, usually worse, especially if they use a treatment that was hard on your immune system, like chemo and radiation therapy. Dr. Kelly Turner at the University of California, Berkeley, made a special study and identified 9 important cancer healing factors. 5 of them are mental or spiritual in nature. The benefits of forgiveness are wide-ranging and immediate. Making a conscious decision to let go of the anger and resentment that keeps you rooted in the past will allow you to focus on your present and what's important to you today, which is your healing. Don't give away your power to the past. How is that possible? One of the many techniques is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as tapping. Now, you may have heard of tapping, but not like I do it. There are many copycats out there. I actually got to train personally with Gary Craig, the creator of EFT, in his most advanced, little-known techniques. I've successfully resolved phobias, addictions. I got a guy off crystal meth. Helped folks stop smoking without withdrawals and post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, there was a young man who was in Afghanistan and came back, and in 15 minutes, we had more progress than an entire year of in-house treatment at the VA. That's how powerful this is. I even stopped an asthma attack in 4 minutes on an Olympic athlete when their inhaler didn't resolve their difficulty breathing. And that's just with EFT. In addition to EFT, I've developed quite an arsenal of techniques to heal emotional trauma and relieve stress. Before I teach you more, let me tell you about a practical example of this. I received an email from a woman with migraines, and she lived up in Seattle, and she asked if my 30-second headache relief technique, which is another one of my inventions and discoveries, could help her with her migraines. So I asked her some questions about the tests they've run and what they found, and they couldn't find any cause after years of testing. So I offered to call her on the phone and do some tapping work. And all we did as we were tapping was just focusing on the symptoms of the migraine. The sensitivity to the light, the nausea, exactly how the pain felt. When all of a sudden I got an intuitive hit and I heard in my head the number 14. So I stopped and I said, Mary, what happened when you were 14? And she started to cry. Oh, Mary, I'm so sorry. What happened? Well, my mom remarried and my stepdad started sexually abusing me. Oh, Mary, I'm so sorry. Out of curiosity, Mary, when did your migraine start? When I was 14. Oh. And how did they play into the abuse? That's what you wait for, that aha moment. She says, Bob, the only time my stepdad wouldn't abuse me is when I had a migraine. Go, Mary, that's why they can't find anything wrong with you. You were giving yourself migraines to protect you from your stepdad. In fact, I bet to this day you still get migraines when you don't feel safe. And she agreed that that was actually the case. So we stopped working on the migraines and started working on the trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder from that abuse. When that was resolved, and it was, migraines disappeared. That's a perfect example of the importance of getting to the sometimes unknown root cause. The simple way to change how you see your cancer and healing and change the emotional component. So here's how to do it. 1, see your cancer in a new light. Remember, it's your own cells. And give it and yourself love. I have to tell you, I experienced amazing love and attention when I got my diagnosis. I want you to funnel that loving attention to your body's immune system, healing your body. 2, adopt the 4-5-6 breathing technique. Classical music is great to help you relax. EFT also triggers the relaxation response. Normally just 3 rounds, and it's about 1 minute per round on the tapping spots, will put you in that relaxation response. And then finally, address any emotional issues, especially unforgiveness. I know it's hard. Trust me. Someday I'll tell you my story. I know. How does this apply to you? Let me show you. Stress, again, which is a totally normal response, makes it hard for your body to heal. Remember, it has to be in that relaxation response. So imagine feeling that stress drain from your body, like water going down the bathtub drain. Now think about this. Let's say the water in the bathtub is stress. When you pull the plug, do you have to force the water down? No, it automatically just is pulled away from you and down the drain. So put the plug back in, fill it full of fresh water, which is the sense of hope. How about that for a nice visual? And now I'd like to show you the number 1 massive mistake I made when diagnosed with a brain tumor. You ready? Not knowing how to unleash the healing power of my subconscious mind. In other words, not knowing that I and you can unleash the power of our subconscious mind to increase the power and effectiveness of any treatment we receive. Or sometimes even heal without receiving any treatment at all. That's known as a spontaneous healing or a spontaneous remission. Interested? I thought so. Here's a story you'll find interesting. Well, more like unbelievable. So there's a gentleman who had severe multiple personalities. One of his personalities, we'll say Jimmy, has full-blown type 1 diabetes. His pancreas doesn't work. He's insulin dependent. Another one of his personalities, say James, does not have diabetes. His pancreas works just fine. Doesn't need insulin at all. So is there anything wrong with his pancreas? No. So what was turning it off and on? That's right, his brain. How to. So how do you do it? Let me tell you. Get into a relaxed state. Again, the classical music will be helpful. EFT is great for that. Visualize your body receiving the treatments with grace and ease. Very important, with grace and ease, not this harsh attacking, but grace and ease. Imagine your treatment and immune system, T cells, healing you. If you're wondering how you can use this, here's how. In fact, here's a story to encourage you. A young boy with terminal cancer sent home with his parents to die, and so they took him to a psychologist to kind of help with that, dying process. And the psychologist asked the little boy, "Hey, can you draw a picture of your cancer?" So the little boy drew a picture of something that looked like this. So the psychologist said, "What are those holes?" "Well, that's how the cancer monster breathes, through those holes." So the psychologist said, "So what would happen if one of the holes or all the holes got filled up with some sticky, gooey stuff?" "Well, it couldn't breathe." So he taught him a visualization technique, and every night when he went to bed, his assignment was to take his little imaginary goo gun and fill up one hole in his cancer monster. So after a period of time, he comes back in. The psychologist asked him to draw a picture of his cancer monster, and it's about 30% smaller. They do a scan. The tumor was about 30% smaller. This continued, and the final visit, the psychologist said, "Hey, can you draw your cancer monster for me?" The little boy says, "I can't. I filled up all the holes so it couldn't breathe. It's dead." They did a scan, and guess what? That's right, cancer-free. Now, did outside treatments do that? No. So what accomplished that miraculous feat? His brain, which is the same one you have. You have that same ability. How would you like to discover how to unleash that power of your mind to possibly do the same thing for your situation? Brace yourself. This is leading to the hidden secret to healing. We're talking about the placebo effect. When someone in a drug trial is given just a sugar pill, but they believe they're given the real drug, and they have the benefit of the drug, but they weren't given anything. And if they're told about the side effects, they will have them, but they weren't given anything. That is the power of your brain. I believe I cracked the code. As I mentioned, I come from a long line of inventors. My grandfather was a famous research chemist. His brother, I think, had 140 patents. Well, my latest invention discovery allows you to release the placebo effect at will, kind of like flipping a switch. I call my brain technique the hidden secret to healing. Now, imagine this. It's scientifically proven that you can be healed by a sugar pill, essentially nothing. So imagine if you're receiving a real therapy, known to be effective. You can use the hidden secret to healing to magnify its power and effectiveness. Because of that, the hidden secret to healing has been called the missing link to all cancer therapies. And this answers the age-old question in Scripture of why we need faith. Right? Why do I need faith? Faith is the placebo effect. I like to visualize it like a faucet. So there's already water, there's already healing in that faucet, but it's our job to turn the faucet on so the healing can flow. And that's what faith does. Faith is belief. Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." That actually applies to what we're talking about. Have you heard stories like about a woman who's given 6 weeks to live? There's no way she can live more than 6 weeks. Her body is dying. And yet her daughter is getting married in 6 months. How long did she live? Yeah, 6 months, maybe even longer. Now, the opposite of the placebo effect is the nocebo effect. If you think the treatment won't work, then you just increase the chances that it won't. That's a powerful ability we have. Let's use it for our good. A fascinating study showed that if the sugar pill was given by a lab technician, about 20% of the people had the placebo effect. If it was given by a nurse, 25%. Given by a doctor, 30%. If the doctor was wearing a white lab coat, 35%, the highest response rate. In the same experiment, the more expensive the medicine, the better it works. A good example is they tested ibuprofen versus Advil. Now, Advil is just ibuprofen, but it's in a fancier package, it's colorful, it has its own name, and the Advil actually worked better even though they're identical molecularly. Here's another quick example of the power of your mind. A woman came into my medical office and told me about her cancer years ago. She was told she would lose her hair from the chemo. She decided that she would not. She imagined her hair being constantly refreshed with clean water. She underwent 9 months of chemo and was the only person ever not to lose their hair from that drug. She used her mind to change the biochemistry of her body. Here's a visualization that has helped numerous cancer patients help heal their cancer. Are you ready for this? That's right, Pac-Man. So imagine that the little white dots are your cancer cells and Pac-Man are your immune system T cells. And notice how it's doing its job and evading anything trying to get in its way. Boom. Isn't that great? Now, I promised you that I'd teach you today the 3 massive mistakes I made when diagnosed with a brain tumor. 1, not knowing the secret 3 of cancer, what cancer cells have to survive. And now you also know to use hyperthermia. You want to increase the temperature of your body. And make sure you do that under a healthcare provider's guidance. 2, viewing the cancer journey as a battle or a fight and not addressing the emotional issues that can be part of the cause and also can hinder healing. And the 3rd massive mistake was not knowing how to unleash the healing power of the subconscious mind. So, how did I do? Let's just talk briefly about how we learn information. I think this will be helpful to you. This is actually a great little diagram. Notice that just hearing a lecture is the lowest, only 5%. Reading is better. Reading out loud is even better. Demonstration, discussion groups, and the very best is practiced by doing. So reading books is one way to learn, but it's slow and you're under a lot of pressure, right? And which ones do you read? I mean, there's some great books out there and some not quite so good. Here's an example. Spontaneous Remissions and Antidote Bibliography. 775 pages. I have this book. Now here's the good thing I learned reading that massive volume. They documented spontaneous healings for every type of cancer. Healings with no treatment at all. Breast cancer, brain cancer, bone cancer, lung cancer, lymph nodes, stomach, blood, mouth, throat cancer, skin cancer. One example, the cancer spread to the lungs and left femur after surgery for breast cancer. So all that they did was surgery, no other treatments. These growths disappeared without any further treatment. That is medically impossible. Again, the term used in such a case is spontaneous healing. They can't explain how it happens, but I can. But how do you do it? In order to accomplish this, your brain has to be in a very specific frequency, has to have a physical trigger that tells it that important information is about to be revealed and to pay attention, has to use its unique language, structure, and the format. It actually explains why affirmations are not very effective, and has to overcome and replace limiting beliefs interfering with your healing. If you don't believe that you deserve to be healed, that's that nocebo effect. My brain technique is the only process I know of in the world able to directly stimulate the brain to release the body's ability to heal, that placebo effect, that doesn't require the normal level of belief. Only about 35% of people are naturally able to generate the placebo effect. Are you part of the 35%? I hope you are. Do you want to take that chance? My breakthrough brain technique is geared so most everyone can benefit. Now, here's the real opportunity I see for you. Imagine a major shift in your emotional state. Imagine feeling empowered in your cancer healing journey. Notice I said healing journey, not cancer treatment. We want to focus on the end result, you being healed. And now you know it's possible. The good news, it's not about whether you have the complete ability to do this right now. It's about whether you can take one step now and then learn the rest as you go with some help along the way. Here's what you need to win. The right mindset, you need the right tools, and you need the right help. What now? You have two choices. You can click away and hopefully apply what you've learned. I promised you I would give you great insider information to help your body heal. But it also means that you may go back to your old beliefs and old results. But if you really want things to be different and to change your life in this area, then here is how I can help. Congratulations! Here now is the $497 gift I promised you at the start of the class. Would you like me to teach you my hidden secret to healing brain technique so that you can use it whenever you want? Included guided healing audios where all you have to do is push play. And at a $497 discount as my contribution to your healing journey, I'm happy to help you to apply all the secrets revealed in this webinar plus some. With first building a foundation to help you put your body in the physical state best for healing, help you believe your body is a self-healing miracle, which it is, and to reduce your stress level, and to help you release the placebo effect to make any treatment more effective and possibly even have a spontaneous healing. I've taken all the guesswork out of releasing the healing power of your subconscious mind, and the best part is you will be empowered to do it as often and whenever you want. As I mentioned, I even have guided audio sessions for you. So there's no need to book a session with someone to use this. It comes with a complete 60-day money-back guarantee. My belief is if it hasn't helped you, then I don't deserve compensation, and I don't want it. Sound fair? Who's this for? Well, it's for cancer patients with an open mind. Remember, we talked about that. It's important to have an open mind. Who are willing to take responsibility and take action. Who want me to do the heavy lifting of knowing what to do and how to help your body heal. If you can say yes to all of this, then I'm happy to give you access to the course at a $497 discount. If this sounds like you, then here's what to do next. In a moment, but not right now, you will be automatically transferred to a simple page where you can apply the discount. Then you will get immediate access to the course and within minutes have your first guided healing audio experience with the hidden secret to healing brain technique. I'll even give you a free 3-minute follow-along video to help you release stress. Oh, you're going to love this. This soon will be a part of your must-have tools. I'm even going to give you my $600 course to teach you how to apply the technique in that video to address phobias, addictions, including quitting smoking, post-traumatic stress disorder, and encouraging your body to heal. This breakthrough course will set out a step-by-step plan as to how you can release the healing power of your subconscious mind without you trying to figure it out on your own. You will also learn how to release subconscious limiting beliefs in all areas of your life, even in your finances, which was one of my biggies. I was actually self-sabotaging my financial success. Unbelievable opportunities laid into my lap, and I sabotaged them. My friends like, what are you doing? And I had no conscious awareness. It was actually stuff from my childhood that was driving all that. So I want to help you with that. And that's why this course can easily pay for itself. You'll get those limiting beliefs out of the way, and using the technique, you can actually draw opportunities to you that will help pay for it. So I encourage you to claim your copy now. I thank you for taking the time to attend the webinar. I hope it's been very, very helpful, and I hope to see you on the course. Thank you.